if you look at how the brain has evolved language and why we separate ourselves as species by language, is we evolve language as mimetically as socialized primates in order to avoid violence. So when you suppress speech, what you've done is you've not suppressed the thought. So suppose someone to say, "I hate you, you transgendered person," and they know they can't do it because it's illegal. What you've done is you've not allowed both the feelings in both directions to be heard. And I would say the chances of violence is higher as opposed to the verbal words being used to resolve fundamental conflict. That's why I'm a free speech absolute. I'd rather the jihadis in the park told and planned on secret groups, and they had their free speech to plan to do things like blow up. And then I would like the intelligence services to catch them.
Well,
I wouldn't want to suppress their speech,
prevention. The motto of the counterterrorism people is prevention is better than cure. If you prevent these people from actually getting to a critical mass where they can actually kill people, that is better. From we saw this guy in Streatham. I saw your film there, Ralph. The guy in Streatham, he was being followed by 20 blooming secret policemen who were armed, and he still managed to stab people. I would say prevention is better. He should never have been released in the first place. Clearly a very, very dangerous man. So I think prevention is better than cure.
For our response to the right is prevention is he should never have been allowed to be on the island.
He should have been killed. He should have been executed.
Yeah, it's a liberal my rights because I was born here. That kept him here.
Humans have the right.
So why couldn't he have been here? So is it because of his color or religion? What is it, Ralph, that means he should not be here? I missed that point.
He's an outgroup. It's an outgroup that I don't care what his color or his faith. He's an outgroup that intended to harm the in-group.
Outgroup harming together. So if he was born here, I mean, I don't disagree with your hostility towards him, but where should he go if he was born here? Does it make sense?
To the country of origin of his parents.
Correct. Country of origin of his parents. And what if that country doesn't want him back because he wasn't born there?
For example, if we were in power, a Royal Navy ship could use the NGO mechanisms that brought them here and drop them in the international waters close to their shore.
Oh, you just literally just drop him into the water and drown him.
So let's say, for example, it was Libya. No, not to the water and drown. No, not at all. No death, no violence. I would take them to Libya and a Royal Navy frigate could go up.
This guy's in Pakistan.
I'm using example. I could. Let's say he was coming from Libya. The case for Manchester. I would have our ships take him to Libya and under safe, humane army security cover, drop him on Libyan soil and go away.
I'd kill him.
And what if the country doesn't want to have these terrorists on their soil?
Well, that's their problem, right?
Neither do we.
No, they would stop you. They resist. They say, Royal Navy, you're not coming here. Don't dump your trash on our soil. They're bullying your country. They're terrorists. We don't want them. And they could say that. And in fact, if I was a Libyan, I probably would say that.
But my point is, But what kind of government would we be if we couldn't just implement that simple operation? Most of these people causing us problems aren't coming from powerful world.
Hold on a minute, Ralph. Don't we take people that are being persecuted in these barbaric third world countries when like Christians that are getting persecuted? All we'd have to do is negotiate with them and say, we take the people that you don't fit into your society when they're being persecuted, and you take the ones that don't fit into ours. Simple as. Just make agreements like that. That's it. And then they would take them back. Because they're not going to be a threat to their society when they agree with their way of living.
They'd be forced to take them back. We've got more political clout where we can just say, you are taking them back, or we're going to fucking sanction you.
Can you see though?
I'm going to mute for a second. I don't mean that. I mean literally, we would physically take 100 at a time for that country and just drop them there using armed forces, non-violently.
Yeah. But can you see how the liberal mind works, Ralph? Can you see how the liberal mind works? Because it says to you, but what if they don't want them? Like that's an option. Like they don't want them, so we'll have to take them back.
What if we don't reach an agreement? What if we don't have some contract?
I'm just saying it's not as simple as Ralph's making it out. That's all. I'm not saying it's not necessary. It's not as simple. People may resist having a bunch of terrorists put in their country. Any sensible.
Kill them then. Execute them then. You execute them in your own country.
So you just kill them all.
Okay. No.
Yeah. We follow actually Quran 533.
where you actually execute them. So what's wrong with that, Paul?
Yeah, that's what Muhammad said about the Khawarij.
What do you think about that, Paul? You execute them according to Quran 533.
I can feel a bit of hostility and interrogation coming on here from Taqiyya Watch.
No, not at all. But even without execution, let me just I'll be very clear here. If I was, for example,
hold on, Ralph, you're helping him.
No, if I was foreign secretary, without killing them, I would just use the Royal Navy to drop them off there.
Okay, what about work camps? What about permanent work camp, where it's like you're in permanent work camp, you're never going to be released?
Let Taqiyya Watch back in.
We have something called prison. They should be in prison until they were safe to be released, and they should be de-radicalized.
You should have different levels of prison, and if you're a piece of shit, you should suffer in the worst possible prison that you can create.
Yeah, that's called torture. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Ralph. Can I respond to that?
Good evening, Simon. Everyone, Simon just joined us. Evening, Simon. Off you go, mate.
Yeah. So why don't we actually implement Sharia law on them? I'm sure, Paul, you're pretty fine with it. Can you show my screen?
Yeah.
Under Sharia, of course.
Yeah. So let's implement the law of Allah on them. You're talking about grooming.
Terrorism is a capital offence.
Yeah. So let's implement Sharia law on them.
No problem with us.
According to Quran 3 or 533, it says that those who wage war on Allah, let's say you can just change that to UK, grooming gangs, and they do mischief, just means corruption, which they should be killed, they should be crucified, and their feet and hands, as you see here, should be cut from the opposite side, or they should be exiled, which is what Ralph is saying. He's saying skip all of this. He's saying exile. What do you think about that, Paul?
What do you mean? What do I think about? I don't understand what your question to me is.
I was wondering, what do you think if you were actually implement the law of Allah on him?
Yeah,
is that the Quran, Simon? Is that the Quran?
The Quran is. We're talking about if I could respond. I believe I was asked a question. The question was how would a British government respond, perhaps a nationalist government, Ralph, what they would do. It wasn't about what the Quran says. That's as a red herring.
No, that was not my question. I was questioning you. What do you think if you actually implement the law of Allah instead of actually liberalism?
Yeah, you're talking about.
That sounds quite good. Are you suggesting?
Yeah, I don't have a problem. I agree with what the Quran teaches. So, you're asking a Muslim if he agrees with the Quran? Yes. And what's your point?
One at a time, guys.
Don't let Paul slip. Just let me speak. 1 second. 1 second. When we mentioned to Paul execution or for them to be exiled, he scowled and thought it was like inhumane. Now we're wondering why it don't hold the same standard with the Quran. What's good for the Quran is surely good for God.
What I was scowling, what I was doing, if you'd perhaps listened to what I said to Ralph, I was questioning the effortless. He seemed to think it'd be so easy just to drop these people off back in their so-called ancestral country. I'm saying it won't be. That was my point. It wasn't that I thought the idea of getting rid of them in some way was bad. It was just there's no easy solution. There's no easy solution to this problem. I think our justice system in the UK needs to toughen up considerably, not release these guys until they're safe to be released back into society, be that 10 years or for life, even if they've not committed a lifetime offence, because they're potential killers.
Actually, it's a good point, though, Paul.
Yeah.
If these people believe in Sharia and they really believe it's the best thing, and that they're Muslims and that's what they really believe, then why aren't we? Instead of arguing that we don't want Sharia in our country, we say, yeah, okay, we'll have Sharia in our country.
If you're going to convert to Islam,
Muslims,
if you're going to convert to Islam, then we're great. Do you want to convert to Islam now?
No, it's a very simple
We can say the Shahada now. We can say the Shahada if you want.
Can I respond?
Guys, just one at a time, guys. Just matter who, but just one at a time, please.
Okay, can I give a try to respond? All right. Yeah. So my problem was not I'm being hostile at you. I was being surprised that you were saying that.
That was my problem. You're being hostile.
Can you give me a chance to respond? My point was that you were so surprised that people want to actually take out the grooming gangs people or the terrorists.
We never mentioned grooming gangs. Grooming gangs wasn't mentioned in this.
Can I finish? What's wrong?
We're talking about terrorists.
Yeah. Grooming gangs, terrorists, it's the same category for us.
No, it's not the same category.
For us.
It's not for me.
Can you mute him? He doesn't have self-control.
Just take turns, guys. It's fine. Just take turns.
So my point was, why are you so surprised that we want to expel them? That's actually the very normal thing, or someone was make a case for execution.
Okay, but my response was, just to repeat again,
my point with
Ralph was
self-control. Can you mute him? Yeah. So
Who is
either
this
we do
nutter from
this,
South Africa anyway?
or we can do actually another way. We can actually following another passage from Sahih Muslim that the Prophet here, he took their hands and feet, they were cut off, as you see here, and then he put out their eyes. What do you think about that? Should we follow this with convicted terrorists?
In that context, shall we read the whole passage and find out the context of this, please?
Yeah. So the context is that they had killed people.
Well, specifically, shall we read? No. Shall we read the passage? Do you want to scroll back, please?
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, I'm not sure what it's got to do with anything.
No, don't run away now. We're dealing with convicted terrorists in UK. So how should we treat them? And you think it's bad to expel them?
No.
Or
I'll repeat.
Okay, hold on.
I do.
No, wait. I'm speaking.
Let me answer.
What's wrong with? Can you mute him?
Let me answer the question then.
Can you mute him? I'm not finished. You think it's so bad to expel them?
And let me respond.
Either kick him out or mute him, or I'll leave.
Out. Well, you leave then. You go away because you're interrupting.
Okay, Ralph,
anyway.
can you moderate this one?
Bye-bye.
Can you moderate this one?
Paul. You jog on, Paul.
Yeah, we're going to kick you out.
Christian.
Ralph, you kick me out if you want. It's up to you.
Ralph,
Hold on.
moderate this one, or it has to be one way or another. I'm exposing something right now.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
He think it's so awful to expel people. Or
No.
we're talking about convicted terrorists right now.
Right.
Or if you do death penalty on them, and I'm showing him why don't we actually do it the Muhammad style? That here you have people killing someone, right? They kill someone, a Muslim, which is basically what terrorists are doing right now. And Muhammad's way of handling it is he cut their hands off and their feet from opposite side, and then he takes out their eyes. This is torture. What do you think about that, Paul? Should we implement this in UK?
I have no problem with that whatsoever.
So he's a hypocrite. Double standard.
Okay. Anything else to say? Can I respond now?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. I think you're a really nasty piece of work and frankly a bit nutty from South Africa.
Yeah. I mean,
that's my general impression of you.
I have a little bit difficulties taking advice from you. But
let me finish. You're interrupting me now. Don't be a hypocrite.
Sure. Go loose.
So you're just having to have a go, have a pop at a Muslim and all that. You're not here to have a serious conversation. You're a fanatic who seeks to just.
So you're not addressing the argument. So you're a waste of time.
You're interrupting.
Next. Yes, I'm going to interrupt you because you have nothing to say. We are discuss arguments, and you want to discuss people's. I mean, you're emotional. Yes, I'm going to interrupt you.
I'm interrupting you. I'm
interrupting you because you have nothing to say.
I have a lot to say, so shut up.
Okay, one more time. One chance.
See, you're proving my point. How unpleasant a human being you really are, and nasty piece of work.
I don't care about your emotions.
It's not emotions. It's an observation about you, my dear. Observation about you. As I was going to say, and I'll say this one last time because you're not listening, because you're so full of hate.
Address the argument. Who's a hater?
You are.
Let me show you. Actually, according to Quran 98:6, let me show you what actually Paul believes.
I haven't finished, by the way.
Here it is.
So coming
according to Quran 98:6, it says here, from among the people of the Scripture, the Jews and the Christians, they are the worst of creature. This is what Paul believes. Paul,
yes, absolutely.
Give us a chance.
Absolutely. Amen, brother.
Let's hear your comment on this.
Preach. I don't have a comment. I agree. I believe it.
Yeah, he wants.
So who's the hater?
Yeah, he wants to sit on his ivory tower of liberalism and judge us.
I'm not a liberal. Where does this silly idea come from? I'm a liberal. This is quite bizarre.
Paul, I'll tell you what's quite bizarre was that he was left wing and you followed Corbyn. Now you're saying you're to the right. So yeah, I'm listening to the liberal. You may go right with the Paul. You're not right with.
Anyway,
take a look at this. Take a look at this. Take a look at what Paul believes. Here it is. The Jews and the Christians, do not say hello to them, which salam means hello. And if you meet them on the path, you should force them on the narrow portion. And here it says, the Jews and the Christians, the Muslims are ordered to humiliate them. Paul, let's hear what you think.
Okay, let me say. Now, we need to be aware of the historical context of these things. Because this particular hadith was relevant at the time of war, and that we shouldn't. We need to be people we're at war with the Jews and Christians. Now, it's very important to know under Sharia, it's many times taught that Muslims are permitted to marry Christians and marry Jews. Obviously, marry Muslims as well. And it also says in many
Muslim
times,
men.
No, Muslim men are yes. So you can't.
Muslim women allowed?
You see, that this is the general principle: is good neighborly relations and peace between peoples. But in the context of war, we should not be forming alliances with people who we're at war with. In the Second World War, when we were fighting the Nazis, for example, we were told to be cautious and not be friends with certain Germans or the Japanese and so on, because they could be traitors. So there's a logic to this. What you're doing, you're cherry pick out of context. You're not being intelligent. You're not being historical, because you want to present a very negative portrayal, because you're full of hate. In fact, you're full of shit.
I'll show you how hateful I am. Quran 929. Here's the life rules of how Christians should live under Islamic law. I'll show you 929. It's on the screen. Let me show what Paul actually subscribed to.
I subscribe to all of it, by the way. The whole
929. He's being very
going through them all.
Okay. He's being very sensitive about. Hold on. He's being very sensitive about kicking out convicted jihadis, right? Jizya.
No, terrorists. Terrorists.
Is great. Hold on. Let me show. Here it is. Paying jizya, meaning it's like mafia coming to your restaurant.
No, it's nothing like that. No. It is.
Let me show people what I actually believe. Paying jizya is a sign of disgrace.
You're lying. You're lying.
Okay, explain what jizya is. Okay.
Jizya is am I being okay? Jizya Muslims in a Muslim society, Muslims pay zakat, which is a tax, if you like, on their wealth to go to the poor and to go to the state and so on. Non-Muslim residents of a Muslim society who are protected citizens with abundant rights. For example, if you look at the Constitution of Medina, you can Google it now and read a wonderful Wikipedia article about it. We still know what it says. It guarantees the religious rights of Christians and others and Jews and others to practice their faith freely, not to be molested, and so on. So this is this is far more advanced, and it's far more pluralist than even modern Britain is, because Jews and Christians can live according to their own laws in Islamic society. Christians can drink alcohol, they can gamble, they can eat pork, legally protected by an Islamic state.
So let me ask you, Paul.
So, no, I haven't finished. No. You can't ask me anything, mate. I'm not here to take your stupid questions, all right? I would say that liberalism is totally evil. I think it allows space, as it does in the United States and Britain and so on, for us to have beliefs which are not in conformity with the majority. It gives a degree of tolerance and space for us to have our own views, and that is very civilized. But I agree with you. Liberalism as ideology can justify all manner of evil, whether it be abortion on demand or all manner of things, and it does illegitimize your position if you want to maintain the white English dominance majority holding in England, then liberalism won't go along with that. So, and I see your point.
No, not just liberalism. Just quickly, I would be in the Christian far right, or the conservative atheist right, and the Muslim or Hindu right would say you're not respecting our bottom three dimensions. You want us to treat the gay, the immigrant, the whatever it is, the same, but we're telling you they're not.
Oh, I see. No, I get. I
understand the problem straight away, right?
I understand where you're coming from, Ralph, and I actually, what I shouldn't say this publicly, but I sympathise. I know what you mean. I sympathise. There is a disparity here, which is propagated by the BBC and the Guardian, ad nauseum. I get it. I get your point, and I think you have a point. On the point about my blog, by the way, I don't know if you've seen it, I just put it up about half an hour ago. It's headlined "My Debate Challenge to Ralph. Let's debate the political philosophy of patriotic alternative." And I say, dear Ralph, you and I have recently had a few verbal skirmishes on your live stream recently, as we are now. We both have strong convictions concerning the future of England and its people. I want to explore the political philosophy behind the policies, the political worldview that underpins patriotic alternative. As PA grows, it will inevitably face robust, even hostile questioning about its core beliefs. Let us debate them in public. So I invite you, this is to you, Ralph, to have a proper, sensible, mature, no name-calling debate. That's the article. Thank you. Let us get it filmed by COE at Speaker's Corner. Timed opening statements, cross-examination, and closing statements. And I conclude by saying, contact me here on my blog or email me at so-and-so. Let's get it on, I say.
So, Ralph, before you actually have this,
so that's my challenge to you.
Before you come in, Simon. So, absolutely, okay. I think I would prefer to do it online, because Speaker's Corner, you can't predict how the surrounding chimps might behave. So I'd rather do it online on COE or any way you'd like. So that way there's no chimps surrounding, shouting and jumping up and down. But absolutely, let's set that up.
Okay, with COE rather than your own line, an independent
Anyway,
would be better.
Anyway,
Okay,
you like
good.
it. It's fine.
Well, we can discuss times and dates, but I think with COE will be better because it's an independent company producer, content.
Independent's just fine by me.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for that quick and swift response, and we'll negotiate the details perhaps by email or something.
Right, Ralph.
Yeah, and can we agree one thing? Can we also do something else? Can we allow the audience at the end of it? I can set up the page if you like to just vote about who wins the debate.
If you wish. I mean, the trouble is, it all depends who. You know, if people crowdfund and get all the crowd in, they're going to. It doesn't really indicate the objective goodness or badness or rightness and wrongness of the principle.
I completely agree. We'll have a disclaimer at the top saying this is a straw poll and non-scientific.
If you want that, but it all depends who turns up and watches.
Exactly. I don't know. We don't know.
It's not a scientific poll of the people in general.
Excellent. So let's do that later and stuff. So I missed the last 5 minutes. Evening, England. Simon. Sorry, Simon. Nice to hear from you, man. You're back on YouTube. I knew you took a break for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your videos have been like on fire, man.
Of course. So let me comment on something. So first of all, Paul, I'm not against you. I'm against what you said. So I've spoken to you before. It's been very pleasure. Yeah, it's been very pleasure climate. So the thing that
you're a bit of a Rottweiler, aren't you? Just to go for the jugular.
So the thing that triggered me was that you would not support, as an Englishman, you would not support that the convicted terrorists. I said grooming gang as well, but the convicted terrorists should not be expelled at any price. That's what I actually expected from you.
I didn't
that
say
triggered
that.
me a lot.
I think you triggered yourself with respect, because I didn't say that. I was merely questioning Ralph's ease of. Oh, it'd be so easy just to dump these guys and leave. No, it wouldn't be, because these countries would resist having a whole bunch of terrorists dumped on its beach.
Yeah,
of course they would.
So our position, I mean, I don't know if you know me, Ralph. We have internal conversations. There are things I definitely disagree with him, but I'm trying to understand what he believes and be fair about it. But this is an open platform. Anybody can come in here. So, Ralph, I need you to know what actually Paul believes. So can I have 2 minutes, Ralph?
Absolutely, it would be my pleasure.
Okay, so here's the screen share.
Sorry, I haven't given my permission to be interrogated again by this odious.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm
not really interested in talking
Ralph,
to you anymore.
Can you show the screen?
You've proven yourself to be a hater.
Yeah. So you said basically you want a great conversation with Ralph without attacking them personally. But what I've seen from you is just tone policing. So paying the jizya.
No. I've recognized you to be a hater.
Ralph, do you got this?
I'm not really interested in talking to someone who's.
I'm talking to the audience right now.
Is to lie and deceive.
Yeah.
Ralph, do you got this?
So Paul, can you listen to him? You don't have to respond. Paul, you can ignore him.
I will.
Yeah. So he was saying basically the jizya is just a sign of paying taxes, and Muslims have their version. It's called zakat, and here's the kuffar version, basically non-Muslims that are Christian and Jews. The rest, they get only two options: convert to Islam or kill them. So the paying jizya is a sign of disgrace. Basically, it's like the mafia coming to you and asking you for money. So here's the rulings for those who don't, who's going to pay the jizya, who's not Muslims. If they don't choose Islam, they will have to pay jizya with willing submission in defeat, and they have to feel themselves subdued, disgraced, humiliated, belittled. So remember, the purpose of jizya is to make sure that they feel really, really low. Muslims are not allowed to honor these people, demise those who pay the jizya, or elevate them above Muslims, because they are disgusting here. They're miserable.
Sorry to interrupt you, Simon. Simon, I don't know anything about like Islam like you do. So is this from the Quran or the Hadith?
This is the explanation of the Quran 923 by Ibn Kathir. Yeah. So this is also historical. Umar is the second caliph after Muhammad died. He demanded here the well-known condition. Do you guys see this? By Christians. This is how we are supposed to live under Islam when Islam is implemented. These conditions are, the purpose here is to humiliate us. Do you see this?
Yeah, because it's just dominant. It's sadomasochistic domination, right?
Do you want to know how bad it is? I'm not going to read all of this, but here's one of the conditions. We cannot erase new churches, monastery, or any of that. Imagine if we do this to Muslims today in Britain. We cannot restore our churches. We will not prevent Muslims from
So basically,
I want you to know this when we actually have a debate with him, because this is powerful stuff. Just give me like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Paul's up for it. He might have
Yeah,
left.
but when you have debate with us, you
left.
have to know this. Muslim can come into your house. You have to give them food, and they have to sleep in your house with your family. Let me see here. We respect Muslims, and you have to give up your seat because they're going to sit on your seat.
Yeah.
Let's say on the bus or anything like that. Remember, the purpose here is to humiliate you. And the last thing that I think is of value, or there's 2 more points. Clip. Yeah, here. You have to cut the front of your hair. Are you seeing this?
Yeah,
To make sure that they can see that you're a non-Muslim.
Put that link somewhere in the chat for us, so I'll read, man.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Shit. I got Banksy incoming. But anyway, it looks like Paul has left, and it's nice that he wants to.
Of course, he's going to leave.
On my political stuff.
Great. Lovely.
Yeah. It should be interesting debate, no doubt. So, so how's it been going, Simon? I noticed a video burst. It's been really good fun, right?
Which one?
Your last videos have been really awesome, man.
Did you see this one, 24/7?
Oh, yeah, I saw that one as well and stuff. So, but England, you've been very quiet, mate. Are you still there? And Phil, they've all gone very quiet. It's just you and me and Gypsy.
Yeah.
Maybe everyone's left, and then we can. So quickly, Gypsy, does anyone know simple English? Does anyone know who shut down Raspberry?
I don't think he's shut
No
down.
one knows.
I think he just took it down.
You think he just took it down?
Yeah, you don't get 3 channels shut down at the same time, or 2. It doesn't happen.
Oh, right. So something else has happened. Very interesting, man.
Yeah, I've taken down my channel.
Instagram as well. He took down his Instagram as well, though. Why would he do that?
That's interesting. Just curious, because for me, it's just interesting the ecosystems of interest. So, yeah. But yeah, hey man, Simon, it'd be nice to come on your stream sometime, or you should come. We should do a cross stream, and then we can discuss our differences and stuff. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And nice, friendly. We just like and then we can open the panel later. So we don't. I think Paul runs from you for whatever reason. He's not.
He knows what I know.
Yeah, he knows.
And one more thing, Ralph. One more thing, Ralph. One more thing.
Yes, sir.
Last thing, and then I'll. Can you show my screen?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so. Here's one command.
Hey, Simon, you'll find that we're very, very obedient in the far right. It's one of our virtues.
Yeah. So here's a command to invade India. So if you leave Mecca, which is Saudi Arabia, for India, this is not self-defense. Do you see this?
Oh yeah, it's imperial.
This is one of the biggest slaughter in history. 120 million, something like that. 150 million were slaughtered when Muslims came and invade there.
Oh, they actually no, but the slave count and everything in the entire Mughal period in India is under 1 billion over the entire 8 centuries in terms of damage done, right?
Right. So yeah, I just want to expose. I just want to expose when he's talking to you about liberalism or being nice. You cannot torture. You cannot throw them out. Actually, he agrees with all of this. That was my whole point. So
I think he was. Hey, not trying to get Nada in. Hey, only 6 people allowed. Who do
I will leave. I'll leave.
Oh, well, you can say when Nada comes on. Let me take out England for a second. 1 second, because you might be busy. Hey, Nada, Banksy, all of you in one place with Simon.
Hello. Yeah. Are you playing a song for us, Banksy?
Sorry. No, that was my phone. I apologize.
No.
I was killing it.
Hey, Banksy, man. So Paul, I don't know if you heard that. Paul wants a formal debate with me.
Yeah, I just heard. I've been listening the whole time. I've been listening for quite some time now, and that'd be
fun. I do like debating.
I think actually that would be really good. I mean, I don't think Paul's good enough to do any. I'll be honest. I think if Paul's gonna, I hope this is my thing. If Paul is listening, Paul, do better than Menardzi. For the love of God, do better than Menardzi. If that is the totality of your argument, don't even get out of bed that morning.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. It really is. By the way, I just want to say that I've got. Where did Simon go now? Where did he go?
I don't know.
I think he was making. Room. That's fine.
Oh, because
good man.
But Phil doesn't even seem to be talking. Is he talking though?
Phil's a fascist, so if you kick him out, he likes it. It's authoritarian.
Yeah,
okay. Because I haven't even heard him. I know
he's back. He's contributing just so he doesn't get kicked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Like say something like, "Oh no, I want to. Hello, everyone." You know, make sure you stay on. Yeah,
You
no,
know
this
what's
was
going to
interesting.
happen?
This was interesting.
Do you know what's going to happen to Paul? This is the first thing that's going to happen to Paul when we debate. See, Paul, I can do this. This is a public school problem. I can tell you what I'm going to do to you and do it anyway. When we have our little debate, I'm going to put this and hold this up here. And if you look at the bottom 7 of the debating triangle, if you keep going Nazi, or the characteristics of the author is your friend's a Nazi, or the tone is you guys sound like Nazis, I'm just going to sit here in the purple box. I'm going to slaughter you on behalf of Patriotic Alternative. That would be fucking fun, would you, Paul? Anyway, evening, Nada. How are you, love?
Well, I'm doing all right. It's just a very, very interesting time. I would say it's a very crazy and interesting times that are happening.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. It really kind of is. It really is. In many facets. And I was just listening to Paul and listening to you know, it's just I really don't know where. I don't know. It's just kind of like it's like we know what's going on. We know what Islam is, Paul. Like, what do you think that we're just like we have no idea? Like that those days are over. You know what I mean? Like no longer can you have just rely on your like what's his name like Guy Eaton and like romanticizing Islam and the exploitation of Lawrence of Arabia about Hollywood films, and then we're like going, oh, it's so we know what it's about nowadays, man. You
So,
can't just like
Culture Wars or Culture Camp and Dr. E. Michael Jones and the Christian far right, sexual perspective notwithstanding, because all 3 of these protagonists, excluding Banksy, of course, are sexually malaligned. He's arguing for liberalism within an outgroup ethnic that would kill him if they had power, while he's crossed across the in-group, out-group ethnically.
Yes,
it's like an n-dimensional data fucking spike. It's really off all the dimensions.
This is the problem. This is why Paul's place. This is why Taqiyya sort of exposed his position, because his religious proclivities are completely at odds with his. He argues liberalism when you talk about repatriating Muslims back to Libya, but yet when he talks about his own particular beliefs, he's all about Sharia. But he doesn't want Sharia for the Muslims in this country. Oh, no. Sharia for me, but not for thee.
Yeah.
Nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off, taking their time right behind my